On the third Sunday in February each year, the population of Mora, Minnesota nearly triples as the community hosts the second largest cross-country ski race in the United States, the internationally famous Mora Vasaloppet. This American race is patterned after the world-famous Swedish Vasaloppet in Mora, Sweden, which annually hosts over 12,000 participants. The term Vasaloppet is actually the combination of two Swedish words, Vasa, which denotes the royal house of Sweden, and Loppet, meaning to ski or to run. Mora, Sweden granted its Minnesota sister city permission to use the famous name in 1973, when the American event was begun. Since then, the race has grown tremendously, from 96 skiers in 1973 to approximately 2,500 participants from 14 countries in recent years. The Mora Vasaloppet is not simply a race. It's a gathering of friends and family from around the country and around the globe.
Rotaryklubben där jag bor nu, söder om städerna, lite eftersom jag var svensk tyckte de det kunde vara kul för mig att se det här, så lite svenska tillställningar.
Participants and spectators come together each year to meet old friends, to make new ones, and enjoy a full weekend of outdoor activities, food, and dance. The origins of the Vasaloppet ski race can be traced back to 1520 AD. According to legend, Gustav Vasa attempted to incite a revolt in Mora, Sweden against occupying Danish forces. Failing in his attempt, he was forced to flee to Norway using cross-country skis. However, several of Vasa's comrades followed him. Upon meeting, they persuaded Vasa to return to Mora to lead them in another revolt. The eventual success of this venture led to Vasa's crowning as the King of Sweden. The trail skied by Gustav Vasa eventually became a route for a yearly race to commemorate his triumph over the Danes, and the race was called the Vasaloppet, or King's Run. Thus, the tradition was established. In fact, to this day, the House of Vasa still occupies the Swedish throne. Swedish culture is prominent not only in the history of the Vasaloppet, it's also very evident throughout the entire community of Mora, Minnesota. From the world's largest Dala horse, to the old world bell tower, to the statue of the Krans Kula, or Swedish wreath girl, to the Sister City Monument, Mora, Minnesota proudly displays her cultural heritage. Sunday morning. Before the sun rises, a steady stream of traffic enters the community. Hundreds of racers register in downtown Mora and are then bused to the race start, which is actually 15 miles north of the city in Warman, Minnesota. By race time, nearly 2,500 skiers will have gathered to enjoy one of the most picturesque cross-country ski races in the country. Though many participants ski the race purely for enjoyment, the more serious competitors grow tense as race time is only seconds away. The Mora Vasaloppet is actually made up of two courses, a 32-kilometer route and a 58-kilometer route. Though both courses have a common starting point, they soon branch off into two separate trails. The shorter course turns directly towards Mora, while the longer route detours to the north and west before eventually heading south to the finish. Both courses eventually merge, with a common crossing at the Knife River. They then follow a mutual trail all of the way to the finish in downtown Mora. The reasoning behind such a dual course is to give racers of every age and ability the opportunity to compete in this community-supported event. The Mora Vasaloppet is recognized as one of the country's top national events and is sanctioned by the United States Ski Association. The race features international competition as well, with skiers from across the globe in annual attendance. Some of the countries represented have included Canada, Norway, Sweden, Switzerland, Austria, and recently the Soviet Union. Also along international lines is the American-Swedish Exchange Program. Skiers have the opportunity to win international medals by participating in both countries' Vasaloppet races. When skiing the Vasaloppet, racers enjoy wide, well-groomed trails, which are the result of years and years of constant grooming and maintenance by community volunteers. But for many, it's the trail's incredible natural beauty which draws them back to Mora year after year. A welcome sight for skiers, located approximately halfway through both courses, is the midpoint. The leaders at midpoint are each given a special award, and participants receive encouragement from volunteers and friends alike. Covering the race for many years has been WCCO Radio, Minneapolis-St. Paul. With numerous live reports throughout the race, WCCO tells the Vasaloppet story to all of Minnesota and the upper Midwest.
Now, but just as we came on the air, the first skiers were coming by at the midpoint. This is a great spot, Bill. They have hot buns, they have oranges, they have lemon juice, they have the traditional blueberry soup. So I think I'll just stay here the rest of the day. If you don't mind, you go on, okay?
I'll be at the halfway point for the long race.
Over 700 volunteers make the Mora Vasaloppet possible. From the Kranskulas to King Vasa himself, the community of Mora strives to make the Vasaloppet a truly enjoyable event for everyone.
Soup, lemonade.
One of the places where volunteers are most visible are the many soup stops which line the courses. Whether it be pouring some famous blueberry soup or handing out lemonade and oranges, soup stops reflect the vital role played by the community in this annual event. Though the Mora Vasaloppet stands by itself as a world-class competition, it is also part of several racing series. For example, the Vasaloppet is one of 10 races which make up the Central Marathon Series, a group of cross-country ski events in Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan's Upper Peninsula. In addition, the Vasaloppet is part of the Minnesota Nordic Classic, a collection of Minnesota's 5 most challenging cross-country ski races. Finally, the Vasaloppet is the major race in a special circuit of events known as the Mora Classic. This series of races centers around the community of Mora and gives participants the chance to prove their skills in several different areas. The first competition each year is the Snake River Canoe Race, held on the first Saturday in May. This race tests both the participants' ability to paddle and portage their canoes, with a 25-kilometer course that includes a 300-meter portage. A 13.1-mile course through the area countryside makes up the annual Vasa Runners Half Marathon, the second leg of the Mora Classic. Held in August, the race attracts nearly 500 runners each year. In mid-September, the third event of the Classic is held. Beginning in downtown Mora and covering over 80 kilometers of paved county roads, the annual Vasa Runners Bike Race features over 650 participants. And of course, wrapping up the Mora Classic is the circuit's main event, the Mora Vasaloppet cross-country ski race itself. Approximately 1.5 hours into the race, the bell tower signals the approach of the leaders as they cross Lake Mora. The bell will continue to sound until the last skier is off the course. The grand winner of the 58K race receives a 10-karat gold medal, plus the Mora Nisi Award, made in honor of Nils Carlson, the 9-time winner of the Swedish Vasaloppet. In both the 32 and 58K races, the top 3 racers in each class also receive a trophy and/or medal in recognition of their achievement. A special series of awards, known as the Golden Bell Awards, is given to the top 5 North American finishers in the 58K race. The first North American finisher also wins what is perhaps the most unique of all the awards, a trip to Mora, Sweden to compete in the Swedish Vasaloppet. The Mora Vasaloppet is truly a community event, as demonstrated by the genuine enthusiasm and hospitality shown the visitors by the residents of the area. How do the skiers feel about the event?
It's nice. It's a skier's course. It's wide open. Just, you can float right along. And the best race in the U.S., best marathon by far.
Whether you're a serious competitor, a ski tourer, or simply an outdoor enthusiast, the city of Mora, Minnesota invites you to enjoy a truly world-class event. For more information on the Mora Vasaloppet, write to Mora Vasaloppet, Box 22, Mora, Minnesota 55051. Or phone the Vasaloppet headquarters at area code 612-679-2629.
The Mora Vasaloppet is held each year in Mora, Minnesota, located 65 miles north of the Twin Cities on Highway 65. It is the second largest cross-country ski race in the United States. One of Minnesota's star cities, Mora is proud of the 800-plus volunteers who help put on this event. Exactly 1,800 skiers from all over the state, the country, and the world participated in this year's race. In all, 8 countries were represented. But the Vasaloppet does not begin or end with the race itself. There are many events throughout the weekend which are attended by many out-of-town visitors as well as the local crowd. Beginning Friday and running all weekend is the Vasaloppet Art Show. Area artists display and sell their work at the St. Mary's Parish Center. Late Friday afternoon at the City Hall is the reception for foreign visitors. The opening ceremonies take place that evening in front of the Vasaloppet headquarters. Immediately following those ceremonies are the sprint races. The participating skiers attack a 1-kilometer route out of town and back. Still to go on Friday evening is a dance at the Legion Hall. Entertainment and a live band fill out this event-filled day. The events on Saturday begin at 10 in the morning with the King Vasa Day program at the high school. Sponsored by the Dala Heritage Society, this program honors one of the heroes of the Swedish people, King Vasa, whose courage brought the Swedes out of oppression by the Danes to freedom. Spark races continue the festivities that afternoon on the lake. These Scandinavian kick sleds are still used as a means of transportation in parts of Norway and Sweden. 1988 marked the second year the national championships were held in Mora. An Italian spaghetti supper held at the Legion Hall from 4 until 8 that evening gives the skiers a chance to load up on those precious carbohydrates. Another dance is held in the same location shortly following. Sunday, race day, begins at 5 a.m. with a pancaka breakfast being served at the Masonic Hall. Many skiers take the opportunity to eat well before the race. After a short bus ride to the starting area, many skiers use what time remains to wax up, warm up, and psych up. Among the dignitaries covering the race this year were sports announcer Tom Ryther from KARE Channel 11 and Ron Maddox, former St. Paul City Councilman. Evidently, they know what matters. WCCO was on hand again this year, providing excellent live coverage of the race. Let's check in now as Bill Farmer and John Gordon of WCCO call the start of the 1988 Mora Vasaloppet.
Elsie Linder's farm will never be the same after this. We're about a mile north of Warman, where the starting of the Vasaloppet will be taking place, and the racers are coming by the hundreds. A constant stream are coming off buses. 30 buses are shuttling them up from Mora to the starting gate. And I don't know, John, are you sure that Bob McKay of the Calgary Olympics started this way? I don't know, but if he did, he started in grand style, because perfect weather conditions exist for the start of the Vasaloppet. And just off to our left here, we're watching many of the skiers, some 1,600 that will participate in this great event, warm up. And I was just talking with a young skier, Tom Buckley from Maple Grove, and he was telling me that a skier will take at least a half hour to 45 minutes and warm up maybe even 6 miles to prepare themselves for the race. And now they're going to have the national anthem. And I think that the racers are going to be finding that they split off after they get out about a mile away from the starting gate. At that time, they will take their 32K or their 58K route into Mora. Some of the times that they finish with are absolutely astonishing to an old duffer like myself who can barely get the skis out of his car trunk. But it's really incredible. I think they're talking like an hour and 25 minutes are some of the best times that they've had here. That's for the short race, and what, 2.25 hours, something like that, yeah, for the long race. And they're expecting perhaps a record-setting pace today simply because of the weather conditions. I might add, Bill Farmer and all the folks listening on WCCO, that our friends the Vulcans are here from the St. Paul Winter Carnival. They've arrived. They've been here all weekend, and they're having a great time, as many other people are. And along the way, the folks will have an opportunity to stop for the blueberry soup. Also, they have hot crust buns for them. You can almost eat a meal on your way to Mora from where we are right now. We're getting very close to the dynamite, which is the signal for the start of the race. I hope the Vulcans don't do a false start with those guns they fire all the time. They got like 6 sticks of dynamite equivalent in a plastic explosive. And they're going to be starting with a discharge here in just a moment. There she goes. And they are off. John, you can do the play-by-play. Absolute sea of humanity. This is remarkable. Look at these skiers as they're going right past us here in our watchtower booth here for our WCCO broadcast. The 58K racers, I would say perhaps maybe 1/3 of the field, which would amount to about 500 skiers in the 58K race. And then well behind them, and they're starting to come in now, are the 32K racers. And the amazing thing, as you mentioned, Bill, the colorful event that is established here with all of the skiers and the different outfits that they have. It's remarkable, and it's really a great setting. I've never seen so many knees and elbows in my life as they bunch up here at the beginning of this race, but they move like just a steady torrent of color. and humanity. It's really exciting, and I don't think there are going to be any injuries. They say it's a very safe race, but apparently the most dangerous time for somebody is right at the beginning, because sometimes they will get overexcited about this and sort of hyperventilate. So we hope that everybody gets off to a good safe start. But we can't see the end of this thing yet. This stream of people is just keeps cavalcading through the beginning gate, and they'll get themselves sorted out and be onto that blueberry soup stop very shortly. All sorts of folks here. They're youngsters. Anybody that is less than 11 years of age must be accompanied by an adult in the ski race. But there are many young cross-country skiers here today. We have folks as old as 70, 75 years of age. And, of course, I think our setup has mostly probably split with men and women. I've seen as many women skiers as I have seen men skiers here today. But a very, very good start, and the folks are off. And, of course, our next report will be the midway report of both the 32K and the 58K racers. Okay, this is Bill Farmer and John Gordon from the start of the Mora Vasaloppet.
Thanks, guys. We'll look forward to that next report. We're going to find out what the weather has in store for the participants in the...
After heading through the starting gates, the 58-kilometer and the 32-kilometer skiers maneuver down the course together before separating into the two separate races. The Vasaloppet ski trails are kept up year-round by groups of volunteers who have formed trail teams. The teams are responsible for different sections of the track. Getting out during the rest of the year allows for easier clearing of trees and brush. Most of the course preparation goes on behind the scenes as Bill Farmer and Vasaloppet Vice President Steve Johnson discuss.
Well, about 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon, the water started backing up over the ice, about 6 kilometers down on the Knife River, correct. We had about 6 inches of water out there about 10 o'clock last night. Crews started hauling materials out. They worked till 12 o'clock midnight last night. We had another crew go out, started at 4 o'clock this morning, and we finished up about 6:30, so it's all ready to go.
Now, what did you have to do? You actually constructed a bridge across this deep of water?
We built about a 45-foot bridge, about 8 foot wide, consisted of pallets. We laid down plywood on top of that, and everything's super right now.
Okay, so we're having the Fighting Seabees helping out on this fantastic race.
Now in its 16th year, the Mora Vasaloppet is among the most long-established races in the United States. It is rich in tradition. Traditions that are based on the Swedish Vasaloppet of Mora, Sweden, our sister city. Now in its 66th year, the Swedish race reflects not only an activity, cross-country skiing, that has been practiced throughout countless generations, but has a genuine base in folklore as well. About 1520 AD, according to the legend, Sweden was occupied by invading Danish forces who held the whole country subject. During this occupation, a young nobleman named Gustav Vasa turned up in Mora, Sweden, trying to incite his countrymen to revolt in order to throw off the Danish oppression. He failed in this mission and was forced to flee. In an effort to save himself, he took the trail via cross-country skis from Mora towards Sallen and the Norwegian border. However, his friends in Mora had a change of heart and sent some of their number, again via cross-country skis, to overtake Gustav and bring him back to lead them. Of course, they did this, and the rest is history. The revolt was successful, and in time, Gustav Vasa was installed as King of Sweden. The House of Vasa occupies the throne to this day. So the tradition was established. The route from Sallen to Mora is the same route followed by the modern-day Swedish Vasaloppet. The very name of the race commemorates that event of long ago. Vasa for the Royal House of Sweden, and Loppet meaning to ski or to run. Literally, the King's Run. In fact, the motto of the Swedish race, "If fotterspår för framtagssegrar," meaning "in the steps of our forefathers for future victors," dramatically carries the message of that tradition. It was only natural then that when our cross-country ski race was being planned, that our sister city ties with Mora, Sweden would point to naming our race the Vasaloppet also. Permission was sought and granted. Thus, the Mora Vasaloppet USA was born. The number of skiers has grown from the original 96 in 1972 to nearly 1,800 this year. And with growth comes tradition. In due time, of course, the Mora Vasaloppet will establish traditions of its own. One of the many traditions carried over to our race is the soup stop. There are 7 soup stops along the 58-kilometer course and 5 along the 32. These stops provide the skier with a chance to rest, if needed, re-wax, eat some bread, drink a little water, and for those traditional types, take in some of the famous blueberry soup. It is from the soup served along the route that the soup stops get their name. And for the ski tourer who just enters the race for the fun of it, a new club was formed in 1984, the Blueberry Super Club. It is a loosely formed, unstructured group of fun-loving tail-enders who are out to enjoy themselves and do not worry about competing. Halfway through both courses, the 58 and the 32, is the midpoint. The first skier from each race to pass through this point wins, logically enough, the Midpoint Award.
Thank you. Now we go to Mora, Minnesota for a report on the Vasaloppet. Bill Farmer with us. Hi, Bill.
We're right at the midway point, the 32-kilometer race, and the top 3 have just come by. I'm telling you, a couple of Soviet Union races just went by. They're not in the lead, I don't believe, but Tom Hansen, who is heading this race? Well, third place is what I know of. That's Alexander Soplin from the Soviet Union. One of 6 racers from the Soviet Union who will be competing.
The 58K Midpoint Award went to Eric Wilbrecht of Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Winning the 32K was Kent Green of Bloomington. The 1985 Mora Vasaloppet marked the 7th year the race was involved in the Ski to End Hunger program. Many local skiers committed themselves to getting pledges for the Save the Children Federation. The Ski to End Hunger program is administered by Paul Thompson.
But thank you again to everyone for making this a great race, and including the Ski to End Hunger program and also the Ski for Peace program with our Soviet friends Tom Hansen and Heather Colby, who were involved in creating the program. Thanks a lot.
One other tradition borrowed from the Swedish Vasaloppet is the Kranskula, or wreath girl. She welcomes the skiers with the victor's wreath and various medals. The wreath, made of lemon leaves, is placed around the neck of the winner of each race to symbolize the victory. Throughout the race weekend and the year that follows, the Kranskula is present at various community functions dressed in traditional Swedish garb. The 1988 Kranskula, Jan Munter, had the honor of placing wreaths over the heads of 58-kilometer winner Eric Wilbrecht and 32-kilometer winner Tim Miner. The final standings for the 32-kilometer race are as follows. Finishing third, one of our foreign skiers, Alexander Soplin of the Soviet Union. In second place, Michael Paris from the more local area of Maple Grove. In first place, with a time of 1 hour, 24 minutes and 4 seconds, was Tim Miner from Hugo, Minnesota. The first woman to finish was Lilia Romanenko, also from the Soviet Union. Jonathan Larson, with a respectable 2:11:34, was the first Mora skier to finish. In the 58-kilometer race, Tim Aro of Duluth took third place with a time of 2 hours, 45 minutes and 53 seconds. In second place, Scott Oberbreckling of Hubertus, Wisconsin. His time, 2:43:47. Eric Wilbrecht of Jackson Hole, Wyoming, came in first at 2 hours, 43 minutes and 14 seconds. Eric led most of the way until he broke a ski pole between soup stops. For about 8 kilometers, he skied with just one pole, losing his lead. But once the pole was replaced, Eric regained what he had lost and eventually won. Coincidentally, the first woman to finish, Anna Sonerup of Hanover, New Hampshire, is Eric's girlfriend. Not exactly romantic, but an honor for any couple on Valentine's Day. John Skillicorn was the first Mora skier to finish. At the ceremony following the races, awards are given to skiers in many age classes. The 58-kilometer is divided into 11 male classes and 8 female. The 32 has 10 male and 10 female classes. The top 3 skiers in each class receive trophies and/or medals in recognition of their achievement. From the novice skier to the world-class athlete, everyone has a good time at the Mora Vasaloppet in Mora, Minnesota.
It's great. The people are incredible. It's just a fun race. It's like doing the Boston Marathon, right? It's the best marathon I've ever done.
Join us next year on February 12th for the 1989 running of the Vasaloppet cross-country ski race.